All right, everybody. Welcome to the DJ Greg podcast. Listen, I'm glad you're here. With me today, I have one of the exclusive beat mixers on Sirius XM. I jam to him every week when he's on. And he's also has an affiliation with Beatsource.com, DJCity.com. I'm talking about the one and only Kid Spin, man. What's happening with you?
What's going on, man? I'm doing well. How are you? What's the word?
I'm good. I want to thank you for coming on, man. Really
Right on.
appreciate your time.
Very welcome. Thanks for reaching out, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. Hey, so let's start from the beginning.
Let's do it.
How did you get started with DJing? You know, who were your early influences? All that good stuff.
Okay. Well, with DJing, I come from a family of musicians. My dad's a musician. He's been playing bass since well before I was born. Ever since I can remember, there's been music at the house. My dad was my dad's dad. My grandfather was a composer in Mexico City as well. So music just kind of runs in the family. It's always been around. So they tried teaching me guitar when I was little, and I couldn't play the chords. Like my hands were too small, so I couldn't play the right chords. And I was like, I don't know, nine years old, and I just couldn't do what they wanted me to do. So a friend borrowed some turntables from his friend when I was about 11 or 12, and I just picked it up then. So like I'd say like late in my 8th grade year, maybe my freshman year of high school, is when I really started getting into DJing. And more so it came in just out of a love of music and wanting to perform, but not wanting to be at the forefront of things. Like I'm not like a singer or anything. I didn't have that kind of like my dad sings. My dad will stand up on the stage and rock out, but for me it was a little different. Like I wanted to be like still performing, still doing music, but kind of in the background a little more. And that's kind of how clubs were. When I started, this was like 97 or so. The DJ wasn't at the forefront. The DJ was like just in the background of the club, providing the soundtrack for the night. So it was a little bit different. That's when I got my start. That's how I started off.
Right on. And then who were like your earlier influences? Were the guys that you listened to back then and picked up a certain style from, or you just pretty much did your own thing?
Initially when I started playing mostly house and some hip hop. Then I got into drum and bass and a couple other, more like I guess rave kind of scene music. But initially I'd say like Richard Vision, Bad Boy Bill, they were the big names in the house scene. And then for hip hop stuff, it was all like Spin Bad and the Beat Junkies. Like those were the dudes that really, that really were making noise and in all those genres. And then with scratching stuff, it was the Invisible Scratch Pickles, the Allies. There was a bunch of other crews. There was a local crew out here called what were they going by? Immortal Fader Fighters. That's what they.
Okay, yeah.
In Southern California, so yeah, Immortal Fader Fighters. I knew a couple of them growing up, so. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the influences.
Right. You're a California native, though. I mean, well, LA.
Well, born in Mexico, then I've never really like lived in Mexico that I can remember, and I've grown up in Oxnard since '84. So
okay.
Yeah. So
okay,
realistically, just an hour north of LA, Ventura County. I'm in Oxnard, so if you know like Anderson Paak, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, same city.
Oh, same city. Okay, cool. Right on. You ever met him, or you ever came across him, or?
No, never met him actually.
Okay.
Yeah, by the time I got hip to the stuff he was doing, he was blowing up. So, yeah, I know I have friends that know him, so like a degree of separation sort of thing, but I've never actually met him or hung out with him or anything. But
okay, okay, cool. All right, so you were doing the turntables then, and checking out the the latest of the DJs on the scene. I do remember Bad Boy Bill. I got a couple of CDs. I might have them here in the car.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was banging back then. Then house music. So all right. So when did you get the feeling that I can put on the show, I can do this, I can go in the clubs? When did you get that feeling?
And well, initially when I started, like I couldn't really get into the clubs because I was like 13, 14. So there was all age parties, kind of like mini sort of like local raves kind of things that were going on. That were just all age parties. So I started doing those maybe when I was like 15, 16. So it took a couple of years to really get comfortable to be able to, really know what I was doing or, how to like read a crowd a little bit. It really took some time. And that's still a learning process. Like there's still, crowds that'll throw you for a loop or, something will happen and you just kind of, have to get back on track and really kind of figure out how to grab them again. But yeah, I'd say it took a few years of practice playing, the local parties.
Right. And then as you got into the business aspect of DJing? What some of like maybe your earlier mistakes or maybe something that you tripped on business wise? And then how did you overcome that and say, okay, I got a good footing on it now?
Well, let's see. I'm not sure how long you've been DJing, but when I started, DJing wasn't really like a career option. Like you couldn't live off of DJing. Like it was something you did on the weekends. You know, you might do like clubs, you might do weddings or something, but you weren't going to really realistically pay a mortgage off with that. You know, you weren't going to be living off that. So I did electrical engineering in college. So I got my electrical engineering degree. I started working with that, and then around 2006, I want to say, I made the leap and said like, hey, I want to do DJing full time. Like this is around the time that DJ AM was really making noise, and DJing in Vegas was really a goal for some people. Even in LA, like in the major cities, I think the major markets kind of started giving a little more shine to the DJs. So I stopped my day job and made the mistake of not really, I mean, I had saved a little bit, but not enough to, you know, really brand myself and really have like any sort of direction with what I wanted to do. I said, you know, I want to be a full-time DJ, but I didn't really have a plan to do it. So I ended up working another day job in the similar, just in engineering again. And I've loved electrical engineering. Like my dad also did that as well. So I've been around it for ages, but I honestly just didn't have a plan when I first initially said, I want to DJ full time. I want to be, you know, do this for a living. It's becoming a reasonable thing. So that's how I messed up pretty. So it took a few months of, you know, just trying to grind it out, but realistically just wasn't happening. So I ended up going back, like 3-4 months later. I started working again, a regular day job. And then that was 2006. And late 2008, the guys from DJ City reached out. I was doing radio at the time in Ventura, morning show radio. And that's when they asked, one of the guys, DJ Phenom specifically, used to listen to the morning show, and he'd hit me up and say, hey, who made this edit of whatever track I was playing at the time? And he hit me up on MySpace and said, hey, can I get that edit? And it happened so many times that he just said like, hey, we need somebody to start making edits for DJ City. So that's how I joined the DJ City side of things. That was about 12 years ago.
Okay, and then now with DJ City, now what do you like the head? I mean, what is your title there?
Official title there is music director. So I've been music director since about 2013, so about 7 years now.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So and that involves just having done radio and having been on the terrestrial radio in Ventura County. I was talking to the label reps, and I was talking to a bunch of remixers and editors that were sending music that I asked them, because doing the radio, I was playing in the morning show. So the morning show is like peak hour. You know, there's 7 a.m. and there's 5 p.m. So realistically, those are like the two most coveted, I guess, hours in radio. So that's what I was doing at the time. And yeah, so that's how I was able to take on the music director position in 2013, is just having those connects and kind of, keeping an ear to whatever was going on in music.
Right. Weren't you, did you have a spot on some iHeart radio station at one time?
No, I've done a few guest mixes for iHeart stations for a few of the major like broadcasting companies, but I've never had a solid, a consistent spot on any iHeart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just had an affiliation. And then now you also have another affiliation with Beatsource. Am I right about that? Yeah,
exactly. So Beatsource is the, I guess, merged company, kind of a merged project, I should say, between DJ City and Beatport. So Beatport is the the store that all of the, I guess you could say, electronic music DJs kind of go to. So they have all the any genre realistically that's getting played. The I don't like to say the word electronic necessarily, but that's kind of what it is, I guess. Just not EDM for sure, but I guess in the electronic music space, that's where all the DJs go to get their music. So we partnered up with them to start Beatsource, and Beatsource is now a streaming platform. So we're streaming into all the major DVS, all the software systems, directly into equipment, directly into laptops, your iPhone, iPad, smartphone, whatever device you can get all these apps on. We're streaming directly into it.
Right on, man. Yeah, you like everywhere, man.
I'm trying to be, man. Get in where we fit in, right? That's the goal.
Right, that's the game, man.
Yeah.
And speaking of laptops, I see right behind you, you got your setup. What are you rocking with right now? Turntables, CDJs?
Yeah, let me see if I can lift this up and have my gear reach. I have a little cover on them, but these are my 1200s.
Okay.
And
Button the
the
12.
Pioneer mixer here. I have a little monitor up here,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
have, let's see if you can see them very well. The congas back there, the drums.
Yep, the drums. Yep, I saw
The
you
drum,
playing.
little drum pad right here. My keyboard is covered, is got the dust cover on it. So I have my own little,
Oh,
my whole little setup going on back there.
okay.
But
All right.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely a turntables guy.
Yeah, I see with all your pictures on Instagram. Yeah, definitely a turntablist. So you
Absolutely.
never really messed around with the CDJs or any other like controllers or anything like
I
that.
definitely got into the CDJs when they first came out. We were using them at the radio station, actually, where I was out here in Ventura. We were
Okay.
using it for a while. So that's actually how I started making edits, is by having access to those CDJs. You know, the labels would send out a promo version and it was only dirty. So we couldn't play that on the air. So I'd go in and clean it up and make an intro edit for myself that I could play on the radio live on the air. And that's how I started messing with the CDJs and how I really got into editing. This would have been be like 06, 07.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But
And
a
I have a,
turntablist at
yeah,
heart.
and yeah, exactly. And I have a controller right next to me too, actually, right here on my desk. Let me flip it over and I can show you. I have one sitting right here to
Oh, what is that? That's
practice on.
the.
This is the Pioneer SR.
Okay. Okay. I thought it was a
Yeah, I know they have.
Pioneer.
I don't think they make this one anymore. I think they have the SR2, which is like the next one with
Yeah, they got.
the
You
color
know
cube
what,
ones.
kid? They got so many of them, you can't even keep up with them no more.
Definitely not. And they're all fire too, by the way.
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. All right, so moving around in radio, doing edits. How did you land the gig at Sirius XM?
With Sirius XM, I was actually only supposed to do Saturday evening mixes. When the station was going to launch, I want to say it was May of 2015. So it's been just over 5 years now, almost 5.5. The week before it launched, the program director, who is now the program director, I should say, Phenom again, the same guy who got me into DJ City, he reached
Okay.
out to me and said, "Hey, a change of plans, a couple things aren't panning out with the plans of the station. We need somebody to do daily mixes at 5 p.m. East Coast, 2 p.m. West Coast time. Are you interested?" And I was doing terrestrial radio at the time, and I was going to have a daughter in August. So that was the perfect. So yeah, this was happening in May. In August is when I was planning on leaving terrestrial radio, because I couldn't be on a super strict schedule. Like, Sirius XM, I can DJ and make these mixes and just transmit from home. Whereas terrestrial radio, I had to be in the studio, so that was going to be a little too much. So yeah, he reached out to me and said, a couple things was wrong with the staff that was supposed to take over the station, and brought me on to do daily mixes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. And
Yeah,
you've been.
huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. You've been rocking it ever since.
Yeah, since day one, 2015, May of 2015. I haven't missed a day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Man, all right, so you settled in with Sirius XM, and big shout out to Pitbull. You guys, of course, you had to meet him a couple of times.
Yeah.
Okay, reached out to you, and how was it working with the big dude?
Let's see. Well, I've only met a handful of times. Like, we don't, I don't text him or anything, but
Right.
I don't have that kind of connection with him. But definitely a super nice guy. I mean, he's given us the DJs that are on the station a huge platform, a huge, I guess, just a place to play the music and our style that we like. I mean, being Pitbull, he dives into all genres really. So he's hip hop, he's Latin, he's dance.
Right.
He's global, he's Mr. Worldwide. So, there's no real, I mean, he does rock stuff too. So there's really no limitations as far as what we can play. He's just got to, sound good and really just rock a good set.
Right. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about his station. It's not just one genre. It's all over the place, but it also makes you dance, whether you're rocking the Latin, whether you're rocking the dance, whether you're rocking hip hop, trap, whatever you're doing, old school,
Yeah.
new school. And it's just a great breath of fresh air to know that you can have all these genres played on one radio station, man. Genius.
Exactly. Yeah, that was definitely the goal when the station started, was just to give somebody the realistically, that's what happened. That's what's happening globally. You know, like maybe back when I was growing up, if you were into hip hop, you were a hip hop head. If you were into house, you were were a groover or a raver or something like that, and the lines didn't really blur. Nowadays, with music just being online and in the palm of your hand, realistically speaking, just listening to whatever you want on your phone. People listen to everything. So to have just a dance station, to have just a hip hop station wasn't really the goal. So we were able to really make it multi-genre and across different cultures too. So very very fortunate to be able to be a part of that.
Absolutely, man. The internet, that's why the internet is undefeated, man, because you just can't mess with it.
Exactly. Level the playing field for sure.
All right. So what does the future look like for Kids Spin?
Let's see. What can I talk about? We're still going to be doing DJ City and Beatsource, as well as Globalization. You can still catch me there every single weekday. And doing a little more production. So I'm going to be dropping some tracks on DJ City Records pretty soon too.
Okay.
So something of that. Maybe some classic house influence stuff, some hip hop stuff, maybe some Latin, like reggaeton kind of leaning cumbia stuff too. So I'm going to be, kind of all over the place, but dropping original material pretty soon too.
Oh, cool. Okay. Are you singing or are you just
just all production? It's all on the production.
Production. No singing from Kids Spin.
No singing, and if I do, it's going to be auto-tuned like crazy too.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah. I might need the same thing too, man.
Yeah, man. You got that auto-tune hookup, let me know.
Yeah. I got you. Yo, so of course, this year has been, very difficult with COVID, and how has it changed, the way you do things now?
Well, it's funny and kind of sad too sometimes to mention when people ask me like, how much has your life changed? It hasn't really changed that much. Realistically, I've been working from home since about 2009. So this is year 11 for me working from home. I was going to the DJ City office and to the Beatsource office, of course, maybe like twice a week. But for the most part, most of my work was working from home. Obviously, the gigs aren't happening. Southern California and California overall is on a pretty strict lockdown in terms of like events and clubs and parties going on, which I think is good. We definitely want to beat this thing and get back to normal as soon as possible. So it's just the gigs that we're missing now, the DJs in my area. But as far as how much it changed, it didn't really change too much. Like I mentioned, like I was working from home, and the only difference is now that my we take the kids to the sitter or something, but now they're home, so it's a little tougher to get stuff done some days. But and then my wife is also working from home. She's a teacher, so she's doing all her classes from home as well. So that's a little different, is to be fighting over the good Wi-Fi spot sometimes.
Yeah. This is my spot. You stay over
exactly.
there.
Yeah, this is where the good signal is, and I start, turning the laptop. Like, come on, like let me get the 4 or 5 bars that we can get on here. So, yeah, that's really the only struggle I think is getting stuff done and really being focused. But
right on. Yeah. Big shout out to Julie though. How long you guys been married?
Going on year 11. This is it'll be 11 years in November.
Holy cow, man. Keep that good thing going, man.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome. How'd you guys meet, like, real quick?
We first met in high school. We don't remember exactly how, but we know we did like a driver's ed together in summer school.
Okay.
So that's when we really started talking. We didn't date in high school or anything, but in 2005, she reached out to me on MySpace. Said like, hey, do you remember me? And we started talking, and I went to visit her, and she was in Santa Barbara at UCSB. And I drove out there, and we hit it off and started talking again and just hanging out and dating.
Right on, man. And hey, man,
15 years now.
15 years, man.
Yeah.
Holy cow. The drive was worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Right on.
Actually, I was actually in a band around that time too. So the band that I was practicing coincidentally was 3 houses down from hers, where she was living.
Wow.
So out in Isla Vista. Yeah, I was in a band at the time, and we were practicing just 3 doors down from where she was staying.
Wow, isn't that funny? Like the love, man, could be like right under your nose and you don't even know it.
I had no idea, man. I was driving out there weekly, and had I known, just had I turned my head to the left, I would have spotted her outside at some point. So, but it worked out. Here we are,
There it is. Yo, so what's the Kid Spin's definition of success?
Oh man, is really not feel like I'm like, you know, on the grind all the time. Like, you know, to be on the grind but not feel like you're working, if that makes much sense. You
Okay.
know, like
Okay.
I've been lucky and fortunate to be able to do music full time since 2009. So I've been DJing 20 plus years. I've been, you know, got my education, wanted to do that, but then once DJing became like a real career option, I was, you know, I was, you know, fortunate enough to be able to pivot in that direction and work with a team and work with people that really have a love for music and for DJing. And that's really the definition of, you know, in terms of work, that's the definition of success for me, is not feel like I'm working. Like I could do this all day long. I could work on edits. I could stay up on new music. I could reach out to label people. I could talk to remixers, editors, artists, and not feel like, you know, I want to clock out.
Right. Right. There
You know,
you go.
I don't count down the hours until, you know, it's, you know, 5, 6 o'clock. So I can clock out. If it's, you know, a Monday is as fun for me as a Friday. So
Right on.
I think that's, you know, my definition of successful right now. It's everything's going well. I'm fortunate enough to still be working. So I think
Right
that's,
on.
you know, success in my eyes.
Yeah, man.
If I can keep this going, you know, be the luckiest guy in the world.
Absolutely, man. And as long as you keep on jamming the way you've been jamming, you'll be right there.
I
Believe me.
appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Because it's like every day I'm like, yo, I gotta speak to this guy, man, because I mean my neck is about to fall off, man. Like 4:30, my neck is like, yo, I gotta get in the car, man, because Kid Spin is on.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Glad you enjoy the mixes and you're able to tune in and vibe out for a little while. Hopefully the traffic's not too bad when you're driving, and, you know, make you, you know, just
Nah, man.
get on your way in a good mood.
Always, especially like in the winter here in Minnesota. Like the people don't know how to drive here, you know, when we get the snow, so everybody just slows up.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so it's like 4:30 when I get off. I'm in the car. I'm like, all right, I got a few minutes to like ride this out until the mix is like done.
Right on, man.
Which is fine with me, you know?
Nice.
Which is fine with me. As long as the wife don't call like in the middle of the mix,
Okay.
I'm good.
As long as the Bluetooth doesn't cut it off.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, come on, man. I'm like, I'm listening to Kid Spin. And then now she does the same thing.
Oh, really?
Know? Yeah.
Awesome.
We both listen to you.
Amazing.
You know, because I turned it on to Sirius XM. I said, yo, if you're gonna get this, you gotta listen to Channel 13. They got Kid Spin, they got Big Sight, they throwing down, they're mixing, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, shout out to the whole team for sure.
Yeah, the whole team, DJ Ragoza. You guys are killing me, man.
Yeah, right on, man. That's the goal, man, is to keep you coming back.
Right on. Well, it's stuck on Channel 13.
All right, hopefully so it's the number one preset. We're doing our job.
Number one, ain't nothing else. Ain't nothing else.
Right on.
Hey man, I want to thank you for your time. I know you're a busy guy. I know you got to get back to it, but thank you, man, for vibing out with me, and you know, much continued success your way and Sirius XM Pitbull station.
I appreciate that, Greg. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you reaching out, having me on. Great talking to you.
Yeah, man. Same thing here, man. You know, we'll stay in touch, man.
Absolutely, definitely.
All right. So if anybody else want to reach out to you before you go, what's the best way?
Everything is Kid Spin, KIDDSPIN. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I don't use too much for some reason. It doesn't work too well on my account. But and everything, Mixcloud. Yeah, it's all KIDDSPIN.
Okay. All right, my man. Cool. Hey, say hi to your wonderful family. Keep that going, man, and keep rocking them tables.
Will do. Thanks a lot, Greg. Talk to you soon.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Let's see, how do I end
Still